Philadelphians know hard work, but you don't have to do it all yourself. TaskRabbit has been helping residents in the city of brotherly love for over a decade with everything from furniture assembly to minor home repairs. Don't let that to-do list ruin your weekend. Use the TaskRabbit app to describe what you need and find a skilled tasker in your neighborhood. Also, there's transparent pricing, so you'll be able to see the hourly rate up front, which includes the tasker's rate and the service fee. So there's no surprises at checkout. Download the TaskRabbit app or visit taskrabbit.com today. It's the Friday News Roundup. We're talking about how Mayor Parker signed all but one anti-ICE bill, what this means for restrictions on immigration enforcement in the city. Plus, a federal committee questions how the city's law enforcement departments interact with ICE. Why Knicks fans are so obsessed with us. And for our members only segment, we've got some special Mother's Day deals. It's Friday, May 8th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Before we get into the news of the week, Abby, I want to let our loyal listeners know that I'll be featured on today's episode of the new CityCast show called Your City Could Be Better. Our CEO of CityCast, David Plotz, is sitting down every week with different hosts from around the country from each of the CityCast cities in our network. And this week, we sat down together to talk about the extended last call, which we've been talking about here on the show, keeping some Philly bars, restaurants, and hotels open until 4 a.m. this summer. And this is all because we've got FIFA World Cup matches and, of course, the 250th celebrations, the semi-quincentennial. So check out today's episode of Your City Could Be Better, wherever you get your podcast. And also there's going to be an episode on YouTube available today. And this episode will be available on our feed on Sunday. Let us know what you think. All right. Big news out of City Hall this week. I mean, this might be one of those, big stories that come out of City Hall this week. Mayor Cherelle Parker signs 6 out of the 7 anti-ICE bills into law that council had passed recently, making this some of the toughest local restrictions on ICE in the country. Guys, this is huge. For the first time, we see the mayor take such a bold stance. And now for the bill that she didn't do anything with, which focused on banning federal immigration agents from masking their identities, will actually become law because she didn't veto it. So the city's ICE out legislation will go into effect in July. And earlier this week, a federal committee wants Philly's district attorney, sheriff's office, and the police department to hand over any communication involving ICE in the past 6 years. And this committee is also accusing the city's top law enforcement officials of protecting accused criminal immigrants. Abby, what is going on?
Yeah, so this is coming out of the federal government, specifically the House Judiciary Committee, which is a GOP-led committee from the House of Representatives. So according to the Inquirer, the committee sent these letters earlier this week, and they are claiming that DA Larry Krasner, Sheriff Rochelle Bilal, and Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel are hindering federal immigration enforcement. So the letter is asking for 6 years of correspondence between these agencies and federal immigration officials. The committee also had a special request for the sheriff's office to hand over any communication that the office has had with immigration activist groups. So not just with ICE, but also with activist groups.
At the time of this recording, and according to the Inquirer's reporting, none of the city departments had made statements about these letters. But wow, this is sort of, furthering the questions that have continued to be raised about how much protection can come from local municipalities when dealing with federal issues.
Yeah, this is pointing to that the federal government is keeping an eye on what, cities are doing involving ICE and other federal entities. The committee didn't say in the letters what the consequences would be if these agencies didn't turn over this information, though. So, we don't know exactly how this will shake out.
So there is a deadline, though, right?
Yeah, they gave them until May 18th to reply. So that's like a week and some change away. So I guess we'll know by then, depending what our city agencies decide to do.
And also, immigrant advocacy groups have criticized local law enforcement for not doing enough to protect people and keep ICE out of communities.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got more news after the break. The Spring Art Star Craft Bazaar is back at Cherry Street Pier this Mother's Day weekend on Saturday, May 9th and Sunday, May 10th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The show will feature nearly 90 curated craft vendors selling a wide variety of goods. You can expect clothing, jewelry, pottery, prints, original art, and so much more. There's also make and take craft stations where everyone can learn a new craft skill and take their creation home. There's going to be plenty of food vendors and drinks for you to enjoy while you're checking out the beautiful waterfront views. Make sure you're there for the giveaway of 75 free event totes at 11 a.m. and again at 3 p.m. each day. There's also a free raffle table where guests can enter to win one of the many donated items. The event is totally free to attend and open to everyone. Learn more at artstarcraftbazaar.com. Let's dig into the primary. It's getting closer and closer. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest races on the ballot is for the 3rd Congressional District seat. And it's currently a battle between technically 4 candidates, 4 Democrats, but there are some top runners. So who's in this race? State Senator Sharif Street, State Representative Chris Rabb, Dr. Ayla Stanford, and Sean Griffith. This week, though, there's been a focus on a controversial vote against sex trafficking legislation. So there were 2 bills that had passed. One, increasing penalties for anyone who traffics an infant from a misdemeanor to a first-degree felony. And the second bill called to use the revenue that comes in from fining people convicted of child sex abuse offenses would go into a fund that supports advocacy centers. Now, these 2 bills passed in a 25-1 vote, and that lone no vote came from State Representative Rabb.
Interesting.
Yeah. This was like hot button issue this week. Mm-hmm. And so Rabb defended his vote in an interview with the Inquirer this week, saying, quote, "This doesn't actually go after actual human traffickers. We have laws to do that." And so generally speaking, he is explaining that these bills aren't going to achieve what they are intended to target and could end up criminalizing families with a first-degree felony when the situation isn't harmful to a child, like in surrogacies and adoption. Oh. And in terms of the fund to support advocacy centers, Rabb basically said, he's going to look into amendments and look for other ways to fund these centers.
So he's not saying that he disagrees with the idea of helping enforce more laws around human trafficking, particularly when it pertains to children. It's just like he doesn't think this is the way to do it, is what it sounds like.
Right. And he's also been speaking on a platform of less mass incarceration as well.
Yeah. Like he doesn't want to accidentally criminalize people.
Correct.
Okay.
And says that there's like laws already on the books that go after these particular cases.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, this is politics, though, so we know that the other candidates in this race are going to have opinions on this.
Right.
So the Inquirer reported that Stanford called Rabb's position indefensible. And then a spokesperson from Street's campaign said in a statement that Rabb is, quote, more focused on pandering to a small group of extremists than delivering results for Philadelphians. So kind of nodding to the fact that Rabb has become the, farther left, more progressive Democrat in this race.
Right. And I think overall, like for me in these last few weeks before the May 19th primary, I mean, all the campaigns is just getting, what's the word I'm looking for, like testy.
Yeah, you better be on it because everybody is going to point to
anything that you do, anything that you say, like your past, present, anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, the primary, like I said, is May 19th, and we'll have a voter guide next week. We've got more news after the break. All right. The Knicks are now leading the Sixers in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I mean, this was a brutal week because we didn't have Joel Embiid in Wednesday night's game. We ended up falling to the Knicks in a 108-102 loss. And then, unfortunately, Sixers head coach Nick Nurse, he had to fly out to Iowa between games 1 and 2 to attend his brother's funeral. I mean, this is a tremendous emotional time right now for the Sixers. And so our thoughts go out to the Nurse family. But there is still time to turn this thing around. And like they always say, trust the process.
And I mean, they're fighting. Like those games, they are neck and neck. I mean, 108-102. It's close. So, they'll have home advantage this weekend.
Yes.
And we come out for our sports teams.
Yes,
so we got to hype them up.
Yes.
But also it sounds like the Knicks are trying to come over here too.
Like go down to the X.
No, literally. I've been reading articles from New York-based publications. They are trying to flood South Philly this weekend for the playoff games. And they're trying to limit direct sales to only allow people with local addresses to be able to buy like the majority of the tickets, which, by the way, I had no idea you could do that.
I didn't know. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, is that legal?
Right. Isn't that like discrimination or something like based on where you live?
Right.
But
oh my God.
Who knows? But either way, the sentiment coming out of New York is tickets or not, they are coming this weekend. So do not be reselling your tickets to random Knicks fans. Do not do everybody dirty like that. A fan account said this week that there's going to be $75 round trip tickets from Madison Square Garden to the X just to get Knicks fans over here. And they're doing that today, on Friday, and Sunday. So like they're really trying to rally people. This is corny, right? Like they've won. Like they've won the last 2 games and they're going hard like this. Like
they're trying to lock in that third game. But fans from both teams are so ridiculous right now. I did see a video of Knicks fans heckling and kind of like pushing around a guy wearing a Sixers jersey outside of Madison Square Garden. And I was like, look at these fans.
Yeah.
Look how rowdy they are.
Which, I mean, I love a rowdy game. I love like all in good fun, rivalry. Like
absolutely. But let's
have
do
a good
this
time.
Like in a safe way though.
Safely, respectfully, and also like, I'm sorry if you've won the first 2 games. Like they're acting like they like are like powering up, and I don't know. I guess they just want to continue the momentum, but I think it's kind of corny. And they've even gone so far as in New York, restaurants are renaming Philly cheesesteaks that they're serving. Some have renamed them to like the Philly Sucks cheesesteak or like the Big Apple cheesesteak, which is just inaccurate. Like,
first of all, why are y'all even selling Philly cheesesteaks?
Yeah, you hate us so much.
Continue to sell your chopped cheeses. Like, get the heck out of here.
And there's some really heinous ones. One restaurant named the Appendix Burster, referencing, Joel Embiid's medical emergency last month.
What?
I'm like, come on. They're claiming, they're like, well, it's a nod to his speedy recovery. And I'm like, I don't think you saying appendix burster is kind in any way.
That's low.
It's a little too far.
That's low.
Yeah.
That's really low. Damn, well, this weekend we are going to be cheering on our Sixers.
Gotta show up.
Okay. Any other plans you got for this weekend?
All right. Well, my partner's going to be so mad that I'm mentioning this, but
Uh-oh.
I am not a gatekeeper. It's just I don't have it in me. So a few weeks ago, we stumbled on this like random vintage store in the middle of a residential street in Brewerytown. And I mean, it had to be fate because it's only open every second and fourth weekend of the month. It's called Mode Modern, and it sells like some of the most gorgeous mid-century modern vintage eclectic furniture that I've like ever seen in my life. Price tags out of my tax bracket.
Like how much?
Like hundreds. But I mean, it's like archive level pieces. It's like vintage, like old famous designers designed it type situation. Like it's like a collection almost. It's really fun to look at. But if you go to the back of the shop, there's a section for paper goods, much more affordable. And they call it Brewerytown Paperboy. And they have a lot of cool posters and books and stuff like that. And Brewerytown Paperboy is partnering with the Analog Lovers Club, which is a group that likes physical media, so like vinyls, records, CDs, VHSs, any of that type of stuff, and they get together and listen or watch it or things like that. So Paperboy is hosting a community meetup for this group there. They're going to listen to some vinyl, they're going to eat and drink, and the event is free, starts at 2 p.m. So just RSVP at their socials.
Ooh, this is a deep cut.
It's a
I
deep
like
cut.
this,
I know.
Abby.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you got to go in the back.
Truly, you got to go through one shop that's only open open 2 weekends a month to the back, and then it's a different shop. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah.
Deep cut. Thank you for this. Wow.
How about you, Trenae? What are you doing this weekend?
Well, the CityCast Philly team will be at the Art Star Craft Bazaar this weekend down at the Cherry Street Pier. This is like one of our favorite craft events throughout the year. So shout out to them. And then the tip is get there early because they do give out like free totes.
Yes.
Which are really cute.
Lots of great stuff. Always wonderful vendors there.
Oh, yeah.
So fun to walk around.
Love the local vendors there. Sunday is Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Trenae.
Thank you. But if I'm honest, it has been a tough few weeks for me because I did lose my dear grandmother in April. And so my heart really goes out to anyone who might be kind of going through a similar situation. Losing a mother, a grandmother is really, really hard, especially if you were close with them.
Absolutely.
And so most years on Mother's Day, I'm just like telling the kids, please let me sleep in. I don't want to do anything. And usually, they respect that. Sometimes they've like made me breakfast in bed some years or like a handmade card. And I just absolutely adore those special, beautiful moments. But I actually think I want to like go out and do some golfing. Ooh. It's been great therapy for me recently. I just need a whack-a-ball. So I actually think I might do that for Mother's Day.
That'd be fun.
So shout out to all the mothers listening, all the grandmothers, and folks that have been mothering us that may not be, our blood mothers, but they have been mothering us. Thank you so much. And next week, I want to shout this out. I will be judging a story competition. This is the Mission Story Slam. It's the 14th Mission Story Slam, and the theme is no judgment. And so how this works is folks come up. They are usually folks that work in like the nonprofit sectors, community activists, things like that. And whoever wins, they get to send a donation to their favorite charity. And this is all happening Tuesday night at Triple Bottom Brewery in Philly.
Amazing. And you won that once, correct?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. It's a fun experience. And we got some neighbor shout outs. Welcome to our new CityCast Philly neighbors, JM, Mandy P, and Sharif A. Yeah. One of the perks our members get is to shout out their favorite business, organization, nonprofit on the show. And we heard from our neighbor Binta E saying that they want to shout out Vox Noir, putting the hood and Robin through reparations. It's an organization that provides safe space for Black women, marginalized genders, and children. You can submit If you are a CityCast Philly neighbor, you can also submit your shout out to your favorite business, organization, or nonprofit. Head over to membership.citycast.fm. And because you're going to want to hear our next segment, which is exclusive only to our CityCast Philly neighbors, we're going to give you some last-minute discounts, free events, and thrifty ideas for Mother's Day this weekend.
Yeah, so if you aren't already, sign up to become a neighbor at membership.citycast.fm.
Abby, thanks so much for these deep cuts and these chats on this week's Friday News Roundup.
Yeah, thank you, Trenae.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Matt Katz. Our senior producer is Abby Fritz. Our audio producer is Matthew Rogers. Our newsletter editor is Siani Colon, and our host is me, Trenae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from all the kimonos. If you enjoyed this week of episodes, share with a friend. Also, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend and be safe, y'all. Bye. Happy Mother's Day.